masters, last time we um, we just came to know a little bit about Swami Shiv and his ashram and the three stories he told, right? So now let us, today we'll go a little faster. So after that, we also discussed that Mukunda, the little Yogananda, he that time he had a very good sleep because that day master has told him that yes, I take your entire responsibility. And he said that, will you be disclosing divine to me? And he said, yes, I will, you know. So after that, he had a very good night sleep that time in the ashram for the first time after a long, long time. So he says that mornings were very nice. Morning, usually they never used to have breakfast and they used to go across the Ganges, which is there in Sri Rampur ashram. It is just flowing beside. So he said Yogananda ji and many other disciples followed Swami Yukteswar ji for a walk, and that was the place where Swami Yukteswar ji during the walk used to give all the wisdom to his disciples. And that used to be the precious moment for all the disciples. They come back, rejuvenated with all the wisdom, take bath, and have a very nice meal in the afternoon. That is what we discussed. So after that, he's telling about how in the during the evening hours also the disciple, many of Guru, many of the disciple used to come. Some very new to it, some first timers, some old disciples. Everybody used to gather in the hall, which is there present in the present house also, though it is a log. But there is a small place, a hall where everybody used to sit for Guru's discourse. That is Swami Shivteshwarji's. And he used to utter wisdom which used to go into their nerves, that kind of everybody, because he was a very nice, his voice, it says that the voice does the Buddha work, and his voice used to do that. Everybody in pin drop silence listening to him, and his thoughts were weighted in a delicate balance of discrimination. He never had any discrimination. He ever, even if it is something is coming, first he will have that weight. He will weigh them, his thoughts in his mind only before he brings them out. That kind of a person, he was never discriminating anybody and bringing balance. So, be it a very rich person coming to him, somebody, a pandit coming, or somebody who is learning, a very disciple who is very, very good in learning everything. So he never used to discriminate. Everybody is same for him, and especially if somebody is learned, he used to pay very much respect to that person. So he said, and he, even if he is, in a very engrossed in a deep meditation with the infinite, with the Parampita Parmeshwar Jagannatha, he, if someone is coming and he would say that, okay, he is engrossed in infinite, he would immediately know because he was always in awareness. Though he will be in deep, deep, deep meditation, but he was also aware of all his surroundings. That kind of capability he had, and immediately he will engage all the people who have come to see him, be it disciple or new people, in conversation and start. So he had no separate time for communion with the God. He was always in one with God all the time. He was a self-realized master, what Yogananji observed him as, and he said that he was a self-realized master. And uh, usually what happens that it is a stepping stone where people will go step by step, no, that they will meditate, and if they are engaged in a deep meditation, they would not like to talk to anybody. But what Yogananji tells about him is that it is like for him, it was the flower falls when the fruit appears. Like then the fruit will come, the flower will go away. For him also, Swami Shivteshwarji was like that. That he had nothing that would stop him for his communion with God, and neither with his disciples or anybody coming to see him. He used to balance them so beautifully, and um, it was not that, oh, he is meditating right now, we cannot go and meet him. Anytime, any people can go. So after certain months, what happens is Yogananji had taken admission in the school in Calcutta, and he used to come to Sri Rampur, and almost daily he used to come to Sri Rampur in the Swami Shiv Yukteswarji's ashram from college, or sometimes, as we all know, he was not very um, he was not a regular student in his college. He loved coming and getting wisdom from his master itself, be it before or be it now. So he generally used to come to Sri Rampur and take wisdom from Swami Shiv Yukteswarji. So one day what happened is, there was a evening, they all were sitting, and this was a very interesting thing. So that evening, the mosquitoes, he was saying, it was very, especially very virulent. They were, all around the place, mosquitoes were there, and it was a testing time for him, as if. So Master, that is Swami Shukteswarji, was not bothered at all. And Mukunda, the young Mukunda, was listening to him. And he could, instead of listening to the master, he could anticipate the humming of the mosquitoes coming to him. It happens with us also, right? If the mosquito is there, we will anticipate that it is humming in our ears and it is near us. Same thing was happening to him, and he was anticipating this humming of the insects coming near him. So he was after some time, when this all was happening, master is giving the wisdom, Swami Yukteswarji, and Yogananda is sitting there. After half an hour, he coughed. Swami Shiv Yukteswarji coughed intentionally, that to attract Guru's attraction. No, he thought that, okay, Yogananji started coughing, as though, master is not seeing mosquitoes are coming, let him do something about it, or he tells us do something, we'll do. So he coughed to get that attention of Swami Shiv Yukteswarji. So he thought that with mosquito bites, he will go mad, and all these mosquitoes are going to celebrate on his blood today, and all the other disciples. So he says that when there was no response from Yukteswarji, he approached him, and he found that he's not breathing. He found that he's gone in deep meditation, Swami Shiv Yukteswarji. So when he went there, and he used to place his finger near the nose to see whether master is breathing or not, or what is happening. So his heart was also not pumping. He felt that something is wrong. Something is wrong. And he placed a mirror under his nose to see whether breath vapor is coming or not coming, Yogananji. But nothing he could find. And he was like, something is gone. Something is there, which is something wrong is there. So he calls another person, and he says that, why don't you go? So, he starts calling people, all the other disciples, for help, that something is there with Swami Shiv, with the master. He is not even breathing. His heart cannot be heard pumping. So after, when master is completely aware, he always used to be in awareness, whether he is in deep meditation also. So he just says, he starts laughing and says, why don't you go to bed? It is, whole world is going to change for you, or what? What do you want that whole world should change for you? Why don't you just go to bed? And he says that, change yourself. He tells him, change yourself and be rid of mosquito consciousness. He says, you get rid of this consciousness which is there in you. Your consciousness is just stuck on the mosquito. That mosquito will come, it will hum in my ear, and you are just, it happens with us also. No, we are into some consciousness, and sometimes we are in the conscious of on some person also. That person will do like this, he will, all that kind of thoughts will come, which is just prediction, anticipating something, and we are just stuck in that consciousness. So master says, change yourself, be rid of mosquito consciousness. You cannot change the world, but you can change yourself. And when master tells him this, so he says that, his yogic power was such that either could will him not to bite. He had that willingness. He could see that master has that willingness in him. That he has such a yogic power that mosquito, even if there are so many mosquitoes, they are not able to come near him, because he is not connecting himself. He is not tuning himself. to that mosquito consciousness. So what happens is when we are into some, either in a very nice mood or where we are in a very sad mood, that time you have to see, or we are in fear, where we have tuned ourselves, where it to which thing we have, to which thought we have tuned on ourselves. And that is what master taught him that day, that okay, you have to, he taught him to be to be connecting to the super consciousness. He said the yogi must be able to pass into and continue in the super consciousness and not in the consciousness of something which is distracting on this earth. So that thing he learned that day, and he said that the rude mosquito entered the he completely, for my attention, he says that it went into there as it dug a poisonous hypodermic needle into my thigh. And then what happens is one of the mosquito bites him like that, and he automatically raised his hand. So another, this was when master was giving the wisdom, and next day, even after telling all this, mosquito came and started biting him, and he was not able to bear Yogananji. So automatically his hand raised up to slap on the mosquito, on the avenging hair. His hand was coming onto it. So he reprived himself on doing it, though his hand raised high, but he reprived of doing it. Why? Because in his memory came the Patanjali Yoga thing. Well, he had read Patanjali, and in Patanjali Yoga, it was that it is ahimsa, harmlessness we should follow. So he says that immediately in my mind that thought came that Patanjali has said that we have to follow ahimsa, harmlessness to anybody, be it any living being on the earth or non-living. Says uh, when this came, then Swami Yukteswarji, who was always connected to his mind, he says, why don't you finish your job? Why don't you go and kill the mosquito? He said, Master, are you telling me to do? Are you advocating me to do? Says, no, because I'm not telling you that death blow already came. It has stuck in your mind that you want to kill the mosquito. So, Mukunda says, I don't understand what you're telling. It has come in my mind. It has stuck in my mind. I don't understand. He says, Patanjali, your thought came about ahimsa in your mind, right? But Patanjali says that it is not the harmlessness of taking a karma. It is not that you do something, you're doing a karma. It is about removal of desire to kill. That desire itself should not kill, should not come to kill anything, anybody. So that is important. But in your mind, already that desire had come to kill the mosquito. And that is why Swami Yukteswari teaches that mental possession, is much more than the physical doing. So he says that what is going in our mind, we have to see that. Is it that in mind we have something to do negative, while outwardly we are just, controlling ourselves? No, we have to see our mind itself, that whether we have any kind of negative desires in our life. So after that, he says, Guruji, he has a question, Mukunda, and we all would have this question. He says, Guruji, should one offer offer himself a sacrifice rather than killing a wild beast? He says that, is it that a wild beast comes or a mosquito comes? Should we sacrifice rather than killing that or protecting ourselves? So Guruji says no. He answers it that no, man's body is precious. He says human body is precious, very precious because it is the highest evolutionary value because of unique brain and spinal centers. So man's body is very, very precious and we need to protect it. He says that this enables the advanced devotee to fully grasp and express the loftiest aspect of divinity, because the body helps us, the human body, the human form of this of ourselves, if this body helps us to achieve the loftiest aspect, which is the divinity, through this body and through, because of the brain and because of the spinal centers which only human being has. That is why this body is very, very important for the humans. He says, but the Vedas teach us that wanton loss of human body is serious transgression against the karmic law, and that is why In every spiritual, be it any religion, they tell that suicide is a lot of people who commit suicide, who give up their life, it is not allowed. It is like it said, no, that is a sin. It is the biggest sin that a man can do to himself or herself. So he says that, we have to, even in the Vedas, it is taught that we have to protect our this body. We have to take care of our body because this is the only channel to attain divinity. So that is what he learned that day. And then after that, he says that another incidents Yogananji has told in this chapter is about um, he was sitting, master was sitting uh, on the skin of the leopard or the tiger, and he was near. Um, and he says that nobody ever saw a leopard or a tiger even to this close quarters. One day, all the other disciples used to also tell him about the story of Swami Shri Yukteswarji. So one of his friend Prafulla, who was there in Varanasi, whom he met. So he also has been here, and he tells him that one day a deadly cobra had confronted Swami Shri Yukteswarji, and only to be conquered by Guru's love. He came there, and he was very angry. He was sitting with a hood up, his hood up, and that variety of snake is feared in India. It is considered to be a most poisonous cobra. Among the cobras, also very, very poisonous. So when he said that Prafulla told Yogananji that we all were seated in outdoor near ashrams, and in the ashram, uh, when this cobra came, he was very, very angry and expanded his hood raised towards Guruji. So Guruji saw the snake, and he never got fear. He never got angry that why is coming. Guruji welcomed him with a chuckle. He clapped his hand, and as though we call the child, no, come, 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 clapping him. So same way Guruji did to that cobra. When everybody is seeing him, why is he clapping his hands in rhythm? They never understood it. And after some time, the deadly cobra which had come there, that serpent was very, very close to the Guru, and now it became motionless when Guruji was welcoming him like a child, loving him with lot of love. He was clapping his hands and telling him, come, come, come. So when these disciples saw him, they were very fearful that this is coming close to the Guru. But after that, it became motionless and as if, some completely magnetized by that caring attitude of Guruji. It became magnetized, and that frightful hood, which it was raising high with anger, gradually contracted, and the snake slithered between Guruji's feet and disappeared into bushes. So he understood, and he just, he saw Guruji's love. He felt that, and he went away. So when Guruji, why? So then everybody was like, why Guruji moved his hand and why Cobra could not strike him? They had this question in their mind. So Master says that I have come to realize that my divine Master, the Prafulla tells to Yogananji that after some time when I asked Guruji about it, that you were clapping, you were welcoming, and why were you doing like that? Then he says that I came to know from the Master that divine Master is beyond fear. Fear of hurt. He will never even fear that somebody will hurt me and this will happen. He doesn't have fear. So my master, he says, Prafulla says that my master, divine master is beyond fear from hurt from any living creature. And that is what he has in his heart. And therefore, because only love is there, Cobra also received loved only love from the master, and that is why he went away. So this was another incidence where, we learned that, even we should not think that anything is coming in our nearby. They are there to only hurt us. If we will give them love, and we have seen in many saint stories other than this also, how wild animals just stay nearby without harming anybody, harming the saints. So that is because only love is flowing from their heart. Only love, only the vibration of love is what they are catching. There is no vibration of fear. And because there is no vibration of fear, they also know that this person is not going to hurt us. They can only receive love. And that is why in responding to that, they also give love only and become fearless. So this was one of the incidents, and another incidence of is told in this is that once what happens is they all again another afternoon, all the disciples are sitting, and Swami Shiv Yukteswarji, and that day he came, early, and during the early months in his ashram when he's just started coming to the ashram, it is during that time only that Swami Shiv Yukteswarji fixed his eye as if piercing his eyes through him, through Yogananji, and he says that you're too thin, Mukunda. And Mukunda, if you see early pictures of Yogananji, he was very thin, very lean. So so Yukteswarji tells him, you're too thin, Mukunda. So, Yoganandaji, from his childhood, was very, very sensitive about it, that he knew that he is very thin. He knew his mother kept telling him, you will become healthier, when you will gain weight. But he never gained weight. Why? Because he says that in Calcutta also, he had, from his childhood, he had chronic dyspepsia, which is like, dysentery type. He used to have dysentery very, very often, and digestive system was very feeble for him. So he says that he knew this inside. He never told Yukteswarji about it, Swami Yukteswarji, his master, about it, and this was from childhood. So when Swami Yukteswarji tells him about it, he says that you are very thin. He says, yes, medicines have limitations, and the creative life force has none. Believe that you shall be. He says, Yukteswarji says that he understands because he is connected to Mukunda's mind always. So he says that you must be taking medicines from your childhood. They have their own limitations. And the creative life force has none. It has no limitation. Believe in that creative life force, he tells. Believe in that life force and you shall be well and strong. So when Yukteswarji tells this to Mukunda, and he says, yes, creative life force is nothing but then the cosmic energy that we are taking all the time. That is the life force. If we really take that life force to that part of the body where we need it, from our mind, uh, perceiving that the light is there in our kuthastha, it has come there, and from the kuthastha, if we send that light to that part of body where we have pain, where we have some problem in our body, you'll find that when you do it, you keep doing it, you'll find that the disease goes off. And that is what Mukunda learned that day. And he says that Sri Yukteswar aroused a conviction of personally applicable truth. He says that words only arouse that conviction in me that I will be well. And day by day, he started waxing. His body started waxing from that day, from that very moment, because he believed that now that divine energy, the cosmic light, is healing him. Every day it is healing him, which is the most powerful, much, much more powerful than the medicines which he is taking. He said, I accumulated the invigorating weight which eluded me in the past. He said, now I have gained weight. And when he, very hilarious is that when he goes back, over a period, he says that my stomach ailments vanished with lifelong permanency, which was that I used to feel that I am going to live with this ailment of my dysentery, stomach ailment, which I have. But now, over just few months or days, that had gone completely. And then on a later occasion, he said, my guru instantaneously divine healing of, and then he comes to know that Swami Yukteswarji also have divine healing powers. He has healed many other people from tuberculosis, diabetes, epilepsy, paralysis, and many, many more. Swami Yukteswarji has helped many people in recovering from many other ailments. After some time, he comes to know that Swami Yukteswarji told him once after he had put weight. He says Swami Yukteswarji told about him also that he was very anxious on putting on weight. Swami Shiv, for himself, he tells that I was very anxious on putting weight. He tells Yogananda, and he says that after a severe illness, one day he visited Lahari Mahashaji in Banaras, who was the guru of Swami Shri Yukteswarji. So to his guru he goes and visits Lahari Mahashaji in Banaras, and he tells him that to his Guruji, he says, Master, to Lahari Mahashaji, Master, I have been very sick and lost many pounds. And then Lahari Mahashaji told Yukteswarji, I see Yukteswar, you have made yourself unwell. He says, I see Yukteswar, you have made yourself unwell and now think you are thin. You have made yourself unwell. No, so it is us who makes us unwell. And he said this reply was far from the one I had expected from my guru. And then he says that I never expected the Guruji is going to tell me that you have made yourself unwell and you have, because of that, you are thin. Yukteswarji says that. Then he says, Lahari Mahashaji tells him that, let me see, I'm sure you ought to be feeling better tomorrow. So tomorrow, so next day what happens is, taking his words of as gesture of secret healing, he feels that, okay, I have come to Lahari Mahashaji, he is secretly healing me. And that goes in the mind of Swami Shri Yukteswarji that my master has healed me. It becomes receptive, and next morning he feels strengthened. He feel, he's gained weight and he has become very well, and he goes back to his master and says, sir, I am feeling better today, master, I am feeling very better today. And then Lahari Mashaji tells him that indeed today you are invigorating yourself, today you are healing yourself, I can see that you are making yourself better. He doesn't say that, you know he doesn't say that I have healed you. He says that I can see that you are making yourself better. Says, no, master. Yukteswarji says, no, master. It is you who held me. This is the first time in weeks that I have felt energy in my body. So Lahari Mashaji says, no, no, it is not like that. Your body is frail yet. You can say how it will be tomorrow. Then your madly has quite, you are madly seeing this, and you are still very frail. You can see how it will be tomorrow. So Lahari Mashaji is playing with Yukteswarji. Okay. Then next day what happens is that uh, again he goes to Lahari Mashaji and says, Yukteswarji says, I am again ailing. I am again sick. Then Guruji says that my Guru again glanced at him and says, so once more you have indisposed yourself, and again you are not taking care of yourself. Again you have made yourself sick. Then Yukteswarji is not understanding. He says that, Gurudeva, I realize that day by day you have been ridiculing me. My patience is exhausted. Now I don't understand why you disbelieve my truthful report that I am not well. Says, really, it has been your thought that have made you feel alternately weak and strong. Says, it is only your thought which made you strong and that you made you weak. And before that also, when you came to me, before that also, your thought had made you weak. So this is something that is with all of us, that it is only the thought, when we realize, if you feel that, you have been in the hospital for 2 days and you see somebody or you go and visit that person also, come back and feel 10 things in the body has come, my hand is also paining, I also have this, I also have that. That is what exactly Lahari Masha is teaching to Swami Yukteswarji, Lahari Mashaji, that and this is all in our mind. Because of our mind, it is wherever our mind goes, energy flows, right? And that kind, whether it is positive energy or negative energy, whatever you are sending will go to that part of the body. So if you are sending negative energy, we'll feel ailing. So this is what he says, and then after that he has a lot of gratitude because he understands what Master is telling him, what Lahari Maharaj is telling him, and he says, I think I'm well and I have regained my former weight, and shall that happen? So he says that yes, it will happen, and he said, it is so. Even at this moment you are well. At this moment also you have gained weight, Lahari Maharaj tells him, and after that. Uh, uh, Swami Shri Yukteswarji is telling that my body, started gaining weight. And after some days, when he had not been to his mother's place because he was in Lahari Mashaji's place in Banaras, when he goes back to his home, his mother was not able to believe her eyes, and he says she feels that it's something is there. You have gained weight. He tells Yukteswarji that I feel your body is swelling now. Are you swelling with dropsy? Mother is telling. So he said, no, I weighed myself from and found that in one day I had gained 50 pounds. Just through his mind, he gained 50 pounds, and he said that till now they have stayed with me permanently. So Yukteswarji says that that pounds never went away. Even I want him there, but I am still gaining that pounds, he says. So that is how it was miraculously that, through the mind, how Lahari Mashaji taught him that as this is the miracle that happens from the mind. It doesn't happen. This miracle is not just somebody is doing it. It is all your mind. And that is what he learns. Then he says that all creation is governed by law. Swami Shri Yukteswarji on another occasion, he tells Yoganandji and he says that everything, all the creation in this entire universe is governed by the law. The ones which manifest in the outer universe. So anything which we see as a matter, in our outer universe is discoverable by scientists. Scientists can discover that, anything which is in the outer universe, which is in the form of matter around us in any time, or the living beings, and are called natural laws. Those are called natural laws. But there is there very subtle law which is inside us, ruling the realms of our consciousness, which can be known only through the inner science of yoga, that no scientist can discover. It is only through us, when we go deeper in the meditation, that time we are able to go in only the inner science of yoga, which is either the Kriya Yoga somebody is doing, or the very deep meditation we are into, we are able to connect to our subconscious mind, and we are able to go to the realms of consciousness, to the different types of consciousness that we are into. And he says that the hidden spiritual planes also have their natural and lawful principle of operation. So what it means is that it is hidden inside. There is nothing that can be discovered by the scientists, because generally scientists discover, they are not able to create many things, right? But we human beings have a lab inside us. It is a lab within us where we are able to identify many things which are hidden in our the spiritual plane, which is our body. Inside us there are a lot of it which we are able to find through the science of yoga, which is the meditation, the highest form of the meditation. And he says many times we see that, people, there are a lot of saints who are able to restore somebody's body part, that we had heard before also in one of the stories, one of the incidences where a saint hand was cut off by the policeman, and how he had again put it back. So same way, he says even the Christ was able to restore one of the servant's ear when one of the disciple of Christ had severed it, and then Christ was able to do it. Why? Because Christ was able to connect to the subconscious mind, to the power within, and be able to do that and he was able to restore it again just by putting it back. So there are not only stories like they, or there are not only the miraculous incidences in Hinduism. In all the religions we find, they are people who have attained the divinity. They have attained some powerful state of mind. They are able to do this. Then, then he's in this lesson. He also is telling Yoganandji about his guru time to time. So he's telling about Master Sri Yukteswarji, what kind of a person he was, what all was his qualities. And one of the qualities telling about that he was a peerless interpreter of scriptures. So any of the scriptures which were there, he used to be able to easily interpret any of the scriptures. And then he says that, and further he says that um, that uh, that after he goes there, he says about the master is telling about that one of the person who was there in the Rachi. One of the times he was sitting with master, and master was giving wisdom to everybody. Now, Yogananji was not fully attentive. Whatever master was telling, he was not fully attentive. And as the master is always connected to his mind, always, whether he tells anything or not, but Swami Shivtesha ji would know about it. So he says that his mind was running here and there. Sometimes it happens that we are here in the session or we are reading something, but our mind is not there. So same way, he was not completely one with Guruji while he was giving the wisdom. So he says that your mind is running into three different planes right now, and that is what you are doing. He calls up Mukunda and he says that, "What are you thinking of?" Master interrupted him. "You're not here. Why? Where is your mind? You're not here." And one afternoon, with this disclosure, he says that Guruji, my tone, he says, "No, no, I have not stirred. My eyelids have not moved. I can repeat whatever you are telling you." Yogananji tells him. He says, "No, though you are here, I understand." He said, "Nevertheless, you were not fully with me, but your obligation forces me to remark in your mental background, you were creating three institutions." Very accurately, how he used to know what is going on in Mukunda's mind was miraculous. He knew every disciple's mind, whatever is going on. And he says, in your mind also, right now you're creating three institutions. One on the one was on the silent retreat on a plain, another on a hilltop, and third on ocean. And he tells this, and he says that those vaguely formulated thoughts was indeed present almost. He says that those thoughts were there in my subconscious mind. They were there. I don't know how Master came to me to know about it, but then Yukteswarji says that he tells Master. Yogananji asks, "What can I do, Master? Because these thoughts are penetrating in my mind randomly. They are just coming in my what I can do about it. And you have given me right about it, to just that I should, whatever is thoughts we come, we should let it come." So he says that, then Swami Shivteshwarji says that your architectural dreams, whatever three dreams you are looking into, will materialize later. That he randomly says like that, easily. That time Mukunda did not take it seriously, and he says, Swami Shivteshwarji tells him, now it is the time for study. These dreams will materialize later. He hears and it does not register him. But later, when he grew up and when Yogananji goes to West, and that time, all these three things which he was dreaming that time, while Yukteswarji was giving wisdom, they all materialized. And he says that whatever Master had predicted that time, that these dreams will materialize later, all the three dreams materialized. Thus, he says that since early youth, I had glimpses of three buildings. From the early youth, he used to, must be dreaming of three buildings in his mind, that okay, when I'll grow up, I'll make this, I'll make this, I'll make this. These are ashrams. So later, these visions took ultimate form. And first, he says, the first came the founding of the boys' yoga school in Ranchi Plain. So the first school which he had made, which he had founded, was in Ranchi as a boys' yoga school, which was on the plain, which, in the Ranchi is a plain area in India. So then he says the next was American headquarter on Los Angeles hilltop, which was in the hilltop. As per his second dream, which he was dreaming that day, this headquarter is being made in Los Angeles hilltop. And finally, a hermitage, an ashram, is in the Southern California by the vast Pacific Ocean. So all the three which he was dreaming that day, and what Master had told him that these will materialize later, because he knew he can see the future. Master was so divine that he was able to see Yogananji's future. Everything he knew about him, everything what he is going to do, and he was preparing him that he should be successful as he will go to the west on whatever he is destined to do in this life which he has got. So master was preparing him, and that was his love, that was his humbleness, that was the compassion that he had over his disciple. So after that, another incident was that there is lot of about Swami Shri Yukteswarji, what kind of a person he was. Very humble. He was very humor. Many times he'll become very, very serious and no expression on his face, because he will be deep into meditation or thinking something. So, after sometimes, he says that I was always thrilled to touch with the thrill of touch of Sri Yukteswarji's holy feet. Yogananji always liked touching Swami Yukteswarji's holy feet because he used to feel that energy coming in. Not many times it is said that we should not be touching anybody on anybody's feet, right? We should know the person before whom we touch the feet. And Swami Yukteswarji was always connected to the divine. He was very humble, very, very beautiful human being and divine in the human being. And therefore, what Yogananji says is that I was always thrilled to touch Swami Yukteswarji's holy feet. And yogic teach that a disciple is spiritually magnetized by reverent contact with the master. So when we touch somebody's feet, we also feel that magnetism. That is why it is said that until you know the person, what kind of a person she or he is, we should think before we touch the feet of the person, what kind of energy we will be taking in us. So after that, he tells about the darkness of Maya is silently approaching. Let us hie homeward within. So what he is telling is Swami Yukteswarji always used to tell that Maya is all around. When we have taken birth and when we are into the worldly things, Maya is always there on this earth in form of Prakriti, in form of many other things. Maya is always there, approaching us silently, deluding our minds, attracting towards matter around us. He says what we have to do around it. With these words at dusk, Master constantly reminded his disciple for the need for Kriya Yoga. Always Master used to tell that only thing that can protect you from this darkness of Maya, from coming, from not being deluded by Maya. He says that everybody used to remind. He never used to impose. He used to constantly remind his disciples of the need of Kriya Yoga, that you need Kriya Yoga. He never ever imposed anything. He used to just tell them that if you want to be above Maya, then you have to practice Kriya Yoga. And sometimes new student occasionally expressed doubts regarding his own worthiness to engage in yoga practice. They used to feel, are we really, really worthy? Are we really ready to do Kriya Yoga? A lot of times. So Swami Yukteswari always used to say that forget the past. Leave the past. Don't think about your past that in the past I was like this, so I will not be able to do it. He always said, forget the past. And so Yukteswarji would console the disciple and say that the vanished life of all men are dark with many shames. Many of these life which has gone from this earth, who have left their body and have gone, they were all men in dark and they were in shame. They are feeling why did not do Kriya Yoga? Why did not they be able to come above the Maya or the darkness? Because they lived in, just for food, sleeping, entertainment on this earth otherwise. So it says that human conduct is ever unreliable until anchored in the divine. Human conduct, until we are connected to or anchored to the divine, always clinging on to the divine, always being one with the divine, then we don't know where we will be able to slip away because Maya will silently approach in our life every moment. And that is why we have to be anchored with the divine. Everything in future will improve if you are making a spiritual effort now. He says that you have taken that baby steps. Oh, there's nothing that you keep taking baby steps, and anchor, completely connect yourself to the divine, completely be one with the divine, and you will see that your life, your future will improve. Leave the past. He said, never, never think of the past. Whatever has happened, happened. Now you leave it and start your journey. Every moment, if you need to start your journey again, start it. That is what he told. So we all should be doing this. And there's many things more. There is about one of the disciples whom Swami Shivtaswarji really loved a lot, and he that person becomes very egoistic, and finally leaves the ashram and goes to his hometown, gets into bad habits, bad company. And Swami Yukteswarji was seeing him, to overtake him after some time. But that person comes back from home, and his habits have become wrong, and that is when he decides that he is not capable anymore of living in the hermitage. At that time, for the first time, Yogananji saw his master crying, and he saw that how somebody who is having such a loving master, trusted master, can do something like this. So that was the kind of love Swami Yukteswarji had. Kumar, that person's name was. So, masters, I'll stop here today. This is a long chapter. There's lots to read. I always, please read this book if you have. If not, uh, take a PDF, start reading. Get the book. It is not very, very costly online, Amazon, anywhere you'll get it. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, all of you. Thank you,
Thank
Mahavatar
you. Thank you very
Foundation.
much, madam.